Hello, ladies, gents, and everyones. It is Thursday, August 12th, and we're here to talk about this week's space and astronomy news. First up, Lucy has made it to Kennedy Space Center. Now, who is Lucy, you might ask? So Lucy is a mission under NASA's Discovery program that is going to visit the Trojan asteroids. These are two groups of asteroids in a very special orbital configuration called a 1-to-1 mean motion resonance, which means that they share the orbit of Jupiter, offset by about 60 degrees in either direction. Lucy will be the first space mission to ever visit the Trojan asteroids. It's been in development for over 7 years, and it is now scheduled to launch this October, and that's why it's now at Kennedy getting ready for that launch. After Lucy launches, it will take 12 years for her to actually reach the Trojan asteroids, but once in that orbit, it's a very stable orbit, and she will be able to fly by the Trojan asteroids an indefinite number of times, and along the way, she will fly by some main belt asteroids as well. So really excited for this mission and looking forward to that launch coming up very soon. Some very cool new results just came out from ESO's VLT, Very Large Telescope, about a nearby exoplanet system called L9859. We're not great at naming systems. And then when I say nearby in this case, I mean about 35 light years. Now the team used a high-resolution spectrograph called ESPRESSO to take radial velocity measurements of the L9859 star. Now this is a technique that can be used to detect and characterize exoplanets based on the motion of the host star. Now they were observing this system that had 3 planets that were previously detected via transit from the TESS mission. Now, getting RV data is very complementary to transits because RV data can give you information about the mass of the exoplanets, which you don't get from transits. In this case, thanks to the very high resolution of ESPRESSO, they were actually able to measure the mass of the innermost planet in this system and find that it is actually less than half the mass of Venus, making it the lightest planet to ever be characterized by radial velocities, which requires a really high precision. So this is really exciting. They also discovered a new planet in the system that hadn't been detected in the transit data, and a possible sign of a 5th planet that would be located in the habitable zone of this star and a small rocky planet. So really cool results. And ESPRESSO's only been operating for about a year, so this is some of the early results from ESPRESSO, just showing us exactly what ESPRESSO and other high-resolution spectrographs can really help us reveal about exoplanet systems. A couple weeks ago, we talked about how Perseverance was gearing up to take its first sample on Mars, and we were very excited. So finally, they selected a rock and they went ahead and started the sampling process last week. Now, this is a fully autonomous process by the rover. So Perseverance went ahead and took the sample, and everything seemed to be going according to plan. However, when it tried to measure the volume of the sample in the tube, it turned out that there was nothing there. So the sample was not successful, unfortunately. Now, of course, this is disappointing, but keep in mind that this is a rover that's doing an autonomous sampling process that's never been done before over on another planet. So a few hiccups, maybe not so surprising. So the team is investigating, and it looks like, according to their initial results, that what went wrong was not a hardware issue. That is, the sampling process went the way it was supposed to, but it was actually more the properties of the rock that they tried to sample, and it ended up being a little bit too crumbly, and so it couldn't get this nice solid core to go into the tube like they were hoping. So going forward, they plan to try another sample at a site farther south where they think the rock might be more similar to the conditions of testing that was done here on Earth, and hopefully get that first successful sample done. Good luck, Percy! It's been a while since we had a Starship update, and you might be wondering what's been going on with that. So if you recall, the SN15 test flight was back in early May for the Starship, and that was a successful suborbital test flight that went up and then landed the Starship, which was really exciting, and obviously we were all thrilled about it. But then nothing has really happened since then. So actually, SpaceX is planning now to jump forward to SN20 after SN15. And what's exciting about SN20 is it's going to be an orbital test flight. So that means, yes, it's actually going to go onto the Super Heavy. Now, the previous test flights for Starship were powered by 3 Raptor engines. The Super Heavy has 29. 29. This is really unprecedented. It's really quite crazy. Now, SpaceX has been working very hard to get SN20 ready to go. In fact, they literally recalled all of their workers available to Texas to work round the clock on getting SN20 ready to go. We don't know exactly when it's going to be yet, though. However, a really exciting milestone was reached last Friday when the team put together the Starship second stage and the Super Heavy booster stage on the landing platform for a fit check. So this was the first time that it was fully assembled, making it the largest or tallest rocket ever, almost 400 feet tall. So very impressive things happening with this. Now, like I said, we don't know when this test flight is going to be. In their initial filing with the FCC, SpaceX indicated a target of before December of this year. However, that's absolutely subject to change. And crucially, they need to wait for an FAA environmental report. And that environmental report will require a 30-day public comment period, and it might recommend a more in-depth environmental study. So we don't know when the FAA is going to sign off and give the license for this launch, or when the Starship itself is actually going to be ready, because this was just a fit check that they did at the pad on Friday. But that's the progress, that's the status of Starship, and so hopefully we'll get to see that orbital test flight soon. Of course, as we have seen over the years, spaceflight is a tricky business, and it can be prone to lots of fits and starts. And in fact, the Artemis program is no exception. So this program was launched back in 2017 with a directive from the White House to return humans to the moon by 2024. Now, this was always a very ambitious date, and I myself have expressed skepticism that it was even going to be possible, and many others have as well. Well, now there is a new report from the NASA Inspector General that's basically saying, yeah, 2024 ain't gonna happen. In this case, the particular subsystem that seems to be causing the delay that they focused on in this report was the spacesuit. So NASA is currently developing a new spacesuit, this first new spacesuit that's been developed in over 40 years, and it's been ongoing for about 14 years now. It's a really long and complicated process, and the report says that they're not expecting it to be finished until at least 2025. But the spacesuit isn't the only thing. Artemis needs to wait for the SLS, which is also plagued by delays and probably not going to be ready by 2024, and the Orion spacecraft as well. So there's a lot of pieces that need to fall into place for Artemis. Not looking good for 2024, unfortunately. But can't wait to see humans return to the moon whenever Artemis mission gets them there. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more space and astronomy news, please go ahead and like, subscribe, and share with all of your space-minded friends. Now, I would say see you again next week, but I'm actually going to be on vacation, so I'll see you again in 2 weeks. But thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a good one. Bye!